Okay, everyone, we're so excited. I know everyone out there in Life on Purpose Live land needs some fun and some funny, and we have got it for you today. We have Leanne Morgan. Weeks ago, before this pandemic, she had 100 tour shows sold out, and now she's been in pandemic land like the rest of us. Plans got changed. She's been making Jello salads. She's been cooking. So, Leanne, welcome to Life on Purpose Live. We are so glad you have some time to visit with us and help us lighten up a little bit.
Well, thank you, little Beth, for having me, my darling. I'm tickled to be here. I am in some exercise clothes that I was intending on exercising, and I didn't. I put them on, and I think I'm gonna go, and then I don't, and then I tell people, "Dad, look at me, I've got them," but I didn't. But anyway, I'm tickled to be here, you angel, and I'm sorry that I'm not a decorator, and I have had more people say to me, "You really got to do something about your dining room," and I'm going to.
Of course. After that pandemic, right?
Yeah, I know. I feel pressure that I need to be cleaning baseboards. Your house looks pretty, Beth, and you've got highlights, and I want to know how that happened.
Hey, look, don't look too close because I got my hair appointment on Tuesday, but my hair just keeps getting blonder and blonder, but it's really gray. So hey, we're going to go with it.
Good. It really does.
Well, we got San Antonio, we got South Carolina, we got Tennessee here. Louisiana here. We got people jumping on. So let's talk about, you've been busy. You've been doing comedy for a very long time. You've been very successful, TV, radio. I mean, you have covered all kinds of stuff. But what is it like to have to be, turn down everything, turn off everything? And still, you've had some of your best videos from your back porch. I mean, you've been able to take comedy. I mean, you're just raw and real. So how do we learn from that and get, be able to laugh at ourselves? I mean, you've made a joke out of Jello salad. I mean, that's funny.
Oh, well, thank you, Ben. Well, it's not funny how my stomach looks now. I can tell you, man, I've eaten so much sugar. There's a roll on top of a roll now, on top of another roll, and it's a new roll, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel right.
But that's okay. You worked out, so we're good.
Well, yeah, let's say we did. Okay, Beth, let's tell people, though, how you and I have known each other forever. Our husbands worked together.
Yeah.
And on many a trip, company trips, and you would be tiny in a bathing suit, and I would have eaten emotionally before I went on vacation, thinking I'm going to lose weight before I go on this trip, and then I never would. But you always were so cute, little, and tiny. Do you still play tennis? Didn't you play?
I don't play tennis anymore. I used to, but after I started getting beat by people who just all they did was get coached by people, and they started whipping up on me, then I was like, okay, I'm not playing anymore because I don't like losing. So I still run and stuff, though.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to play tennis, and I'm not competitive, and I wanted to play with fun people. And you're right, but women that play tennis want to beat the fire out of you, and I'm not into that.
No.
I want to have fun, and then everybody go eat at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question was, what was it, Beth? I'm in menopause, and
so we're in serious mode, and we're getting ready to come out of pandemic mode, and nobody knows what to think because we're like, should we be scared? Should we bust it loose? I mean, there's some level of I'm not sure how to feel, but you've been able to take your life and do it well from home. You've been quarantined with your family, but yet you're making the most of it, and you're trying to have fun with it. And how do we learn to do that? Because most of us aren't good at that.
Oh, well, Beth, well, first of all, I mean, my whole life I've been raised by Lucille Fletcher, who has made everything a joke. Everything has had humor in it all my life. The bad things, the sad things, we always found humor in it. And I think, and I married a man who is very serious. My husband.
Chuck.
Very serious. That's been very volatile in our relationship because he would always, we've been married almost 30 years, and he'd say, you make a joke out of everything. You need to be serious. But I didn't know how. But to me, I look back on it now and I think that's healthy. I
Yeah.
think it's healthy to find the funny in things and to find the good in things. And I try to be positive. And I haven't always been positive in my life. I've been through some bad stuff, and, like we all have, bad things come and happen and
Mhm.
in people's lives, and you get in a valley, as the Church of God people call it. And then the minute you're up on a mountaintop. Well, I have learned now, and it's taken me, I'm 54 years old, but we're all going to be down in a valley at times, and God's with you in that valley.
Yeah.
There's always a silver lining. There's always a reason for something. And
Mhm.
so come out of that valley and you're on top of that mountaintop, I can look back on my life and think, that's why God did that.
Mhm.
That's what he wanted to learn out of that.
Mhm.
That's why that happened. That, whether it's been in my husband's job, it's been in a move, it's been, your children get hurt, you're hurt in relationships end, financial things, sickness, death. I mean, we all had to go through that, but in all of those things, you can learn, and there's always joy. You
Mhm.
joy. You can be a Debbie Downer,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of Debbie Downers where everything is well, you got to find joy in things, and you got to find laughter. And to me, laughter is so medicinal.
Uh-huh.
I've got a podcast with my nurse practitioner, and I'm the entertaining part, and she's the medical part. But it's called Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More. And I
I
apologize.
saw that. It's so funny.
Thank you, but pissed is a cuss word in the state of Tennessee. So I apologize for that. But my 21-year-old named it. She said, "You're always sweaty and PO'd and menopause." But we talk about that a lot in that podcast. And her as a healthcare provider, it's good to find the funny in things. And so
Mhm.
there's quarantine. Yeah, I'm bummed. I had a 100-city national tour launching. That's the big deal, biggest thing ever in my career in 20 years. And with Outback Concerts, who I'm thrilled to be in business with, and I adore them. And I thought, oh my gosh, my luck, I'm national pandemic hits. But, it'll happen. It's just not going to happen on my time, but it'll be all right. People want to get back out and be with people. And so meanwhile, I got on this Jello kick thing because every time I breastfed a baby, my friends would bring me a Jello salad. And every time there's a funeral, there's a Jello salad. And so I just had a craving. I craved, as soon as this thing hit, I craved chicken pot pie. Loved it. I've made a million. Jello salads, casseroles, macaroni and cheese, bundt cakes. And, I don't think of myself as a good cook. I mean, I guess I can cook, but I'm not very creative. I just cook. I just look at a recipe and cook it. But people start going, "Oh, girl, what's that Jello salad recipe? What's that bundt cake?" So, and then
And
people
you're
start,
like, they're serious. They want to know.
yeah, and they send their pictures of their bundt cake and want me to see it. And so it's really been fun. And and Beth, I know I ramble on, but I go and speak at University of Tennessee. I'm an alumni, and they ask me to come and speak every semester. And the main thing they want me to be is funny for these kids, but they want me to tell them that what I feel like has helped me in life, because these kids are juniors in college and they're about to graduate and they're doing internships and they're scared to death, and
Mhm.
all of in their mind that first job is going to be their only job, and they're going to have that job the rest of their life, and they don't
Mhm.
know what it's going to be. They just don't understand that's really not how it works, and that your first job, you're not going to be there very long. You're going to move on. But what I say to those little children, because I'm from a rural country town that grows dark fire tobacco, farming people, and what I have learned more than anything else that I love to tell children is be comfortable with who you are, where you came from, and don't be ashamed of it.
Mhm.
Because people say stuff to me about my accent and being from the country, and that my people, farming people, whatever.
Mhm.
And um, I've just always been proud of it, and I've always uh, used it to my advantage. I mean, I just always thought it was a gift. I didn't
Mhm.
think of. So I tell people, be authentic. I know that's a buzzword everybody uses, but people want real people. People don't want to be around fake people.
That's
And
right.
so, and I just think on these back porch videos that I've done, I think that they've struck a chord with people, because I think women quarantined at home with a bunch of kids and freaked out and don't know what's going to happen want to be with somebody, want to hear somebody that's making a Jello casserole,
It's real.
not somebody that's going to 10 pounds,
Mhm.
and is going to the Bahamas.
Well, let's jump on that point for a minute. So when you tell those kids to be authentic, how do they know how to do that? Because you got social media, you got how many followers do you have? Here's how many I have. There's this whole, you got kids. How do you get them to not compare themselves with other people to the point that they try to become what they're not?
Oh, I know. How do we tell those little children? Because I can't imagine if I had to grow up in time
Yeah.
and age, because I was growing up and there was not social media. I was making horrible decisions,
Yeah,
Beth.
me too. Me too.
Horrible. And
Mhm.
I dated people you wouldn't wipe your feet on. I was a nut. And so praise God that I didn't have to, that I would have been on and showing people all my beeswax, because it was not good. So I don't know how these little children, no wonder people have depression and anxiety,
Mhm.
having to feel like you've got you're not invited somewhere. You're
Mhm.
seeing everybody out going and doing it. You weren't invited. Everybody looks thin. Everybody looks like they're wealthy. Everybody looks like they're, the most popular. And it's all a lie. It is a lie.
Mm. Yes.
Like, I know influencers on the internet, and I love looking at them. And they're like, "Look, I got this pair of jeans at Target, and I'm washing the cushions out at my pool." I've watched all those, but I think that especially during the COVID, people are just like tired of that. Like,
I think so too.
that cannot. That's not. And
Mm.
I just tell students, just be yourself. Nobody's like you. God made you, and there's nobody else like you. And I know we've seen that on posters, but that's the truth,
It's
And when you can accept that, it took
mhm.
me a long time to accept myself. I'm not saying I had it all my life, but
Yeah.
when I had people say, "Oh, Leanne, your accent sounds stupid. You need diction lessons. You don't need to tell people where you're from." I just thought that sound right to me. It does not feel right in my gut.
Well, and that's part of your success is you accept your identity. You know who you are. It takes a real strong woman or a man for that purpose to be comfortable in their own skin and to not only be comfortable but to be confident.
Yes. Yeah, and um I think when you have the Holy Spirit, I think that helps.
It does.
When you really get to it.
Yeah.
I even when I go for a big audition or a big showcase or whatever, and I get nervous and I think, "Oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me?" and all that. The bottom line is, I am a child of God,
Mm-hmm.
and Jesus in me. He has never left me. He loves me. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I mean, he's the one that I want to glorify. I don't. When I get really in my head and get quiet, I think, all these people out here watching me all put their pants on the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Right.
all gonna. We're all. Nobody's better than anybody.
Mm.
I am a child of God, and it just does not matter what other people think. And when I get in that mindset, I'm just so much more comfortable. I'm at peace, and I think whatever happens, happens. If
Yeah.
the tour doesn't happen, if I've had television deals, they didn't happen. It's okay. I know that God's got a plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
He's ahead of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it took me a long time. I'm saying that I've known all this. It's taken me a long time to figure this all out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't have it figured out. But I do think I'm so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell the women out here that I think your 20s and 30s are like, and you're like, my thighs, who am I? What kind of job am I gonna have? Do all this, my children, do. 40s, you start thinking, wait a minute, I'm beginning to figure out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
50 are wonderful.
Yeah.
Right, Beth?
Yeah.
And you think, I know, this is who I am. If take it or leave it, this
That's
is who I am. I'm going to surround myself with people who love me for
mm-hmm.
who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be, not to say I'm not comfortable in a bathing suit, because I'm not. But you know what
We have our limits, right? So
yes.
let me ask you this. So let's talk about purpose. So we're all about people stepping into their purpose, because God gifts people and he creates everybody to be who they are. And you look like you're just stepped into your purpose and you're living it and you're great at what you do and you're gifted at it. But what would you say to someone that doesn't feel like they have a sense of purpose?
Oh my gosh. I would say, everybody, God gives everybody gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gift. And I do think it's hard for somebody to figure out what that gift is. And they think, oh, well, my gift's not as glamorous gift, or, but even if it's like crocheting, like
Mm-hmm.
I've got a good friend and honey, crochet. And she just started doing it since her husband was going through chemo treatments.
Mm.
And she said and started doing this. Well, now she makes these stunning blankets for people, and she gives them to other people going through chemo. So, like, if you could just find, your purpose may be something that is such a blessing to people,
Mm-hmm.
something as simple as that,
Mm-hmm.
or
That's
you may
very
be
powerful.
the like if you have a heart for homeless people, and you can be around homeless people that are mentally ill, or they're got a drug alcohol problem, or things like that don't scare you. There's people who have got a gift to work with homeless people. It might be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie, my middle child, has got a heart for children who are terminally and critically ill, and works for Children's Hospital. And I could not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go in that hospital, I bawl my eyes me out. She can be around little children and love on them and bless them. And she's strong and can do it. So that's her gift. I feel like that's God's gift that He gave her.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be that you can tap dance, or you can, but you're a comedian, or you're whatever. It doesn't have to be anything, or a professional basketball player. There are so many wonderful things that you have in your life that you can do for people, that, God's got that purpose for you.
And one of the things I think is very important, and you've proved it after the pandemic, because you had all these plans and then everything got sidetracked, but you were able to use what you had, a back porch, some things that are funny and relate to people. So sometimes we think purpose is 5 years down the road, but in truth, look around and see the needs and see where people can use what you've been through, or the road that you've walked, and then just simply help people. And sometimes that turns into something amazing.
Yes. And I've had people say to me, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but they go, why don't you do a cookbook that's about comfort food? You just never know what's going to come out of something. You're right.
Yeah, but it's a matter of putting yourself out there and trying new things, and maybe getting out of your comfort zone. I'm sure the first time you did a comedy show out on a stage by yourself, that wasn't comfortable. You were probably scared to death.
Oh, bam. I can tell you, first time I ever tried it in Morgantown, Tennessee, I went to an ear, nose, and throat that morning because I thought I had a tumor. I could not move my neck and I knew I was going to do this little man in Morristown asked me to do it at a sandwich shop.
Oh God.
Because there was no club. I got so scared. When you hear scared Steph, I think I was scared Steph. I could not move my head. I thought, I've got 3 babies to raise and I've got a tumor. I went to an ear, nose, and throat man. He goes, I don't know. I don't find it. I mean, it looks like normal. I don't know what it was. And I looked back on it and I was so scared. And then the first time I ever went from an opener to a headliner in the Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas, which is one of the best clubs in the United States. And they let me, I skipped a whole step and went to headliner. That week, I had explosive diarrhea. I'll just say it because we're mothers. I can say it. I mean, I've never been scared in my life. It was miserable. And I thought the whole week, I'm quitting. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And somehow God, in this whole career, there have been many a time where I have thought I was up on top and I was, I'm going to have a television show with ABC, and then it didn't make it. And I'd be down. I couldn't get arrested. Nobody wanted to book me. Nobody, I've been up and down in show business, and that's show business, but, and the nature of it. But I've thought many a time, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. And I'm going to go to work at Target. And I'm going to work and put the bedding up on the back shelf, and everybody leave me alone. And then God would give me something, honey, to keep me going. I always felt in my gut, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. He never shut that door for me.
Mm. So what do you say to people?
And that's
What if someone is feeling disappointment and they're getting ready to go back into life? And people have learned. I like to say, what have you learned from what you've learned while you've been in this pandemic? And you want to use that. So what do you say to someone who's been disappointed, or maybe they want to step out in faith and try something outrageously big and huge? How do you deal with those feelings from a faith perspective and believe God is going to be your undergird, your foundation, and just leap on out there and do something, try something new?
I mean, I pray about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, and I get weary, and I get where I think I worry, and that's not of God. And I think, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? I'd struggle with that a lot, and I have to pull myself back in and think, pray about it, and I know that God's got it,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not be what I think it's supposed to be. I've had 3 television deals for sitcoms based on my comedy. Every time they didn't make it, I'd just be like, oh my gosh. Now I look back on it and think, that would have been crazy. I would have had to move to LA, away from my family, from my own children, for a year. Because, Chuck would have needed to keep health insurance and all. I mean, it's just such a gamble.
Yeah.
That we wouldn't have had the same life I have. I mean, my children would not be who they are today. So I taking a leap of no, if I'm going to try something new, let the chips fall where they may. And I'm at the age now in my life where I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You know what, to me, the worst thing that's happen is, what if I can go, I didn't try it.
Mm-hmm.
I have regrets now. Why didn't I do that? I just think in life you get one shot. And I'm a dreamer, but I think you got to give it, you got to try it. And if you live in fear all your life, nothing comes out of good, comes out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst going to happen?
Right.
So what? You fail. I'll learn from that.
Mm-hmm.
Then go on to the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
But life is about taking risk and learning, and the joys and highs and the lows. You can't just go through life like that. You don't feel anything.
Right.
Yeah. Got to get out there. Say that, I don't mean like you got to start a company, but you may think, oh, you know what? I'm going to join the garden club. I'm going to meet new friends. I'm going to go volunteer with the homeless, or I'm going to cuddle babies, or I'm, at the hospital, or whatever it is you feel like you got a heart for. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah. Amen.
And try,
Yeah. Yeah.
most of the time, it's going to turn out fine.
That's right. You'll either like it and you'll go do more, or you'll learn not to do that again and try something else. It's, it's a process of elimination.
Right.
Let me ask you one more question, because we're going to run out of time. But so you've been home, you've got 3 adult children, but yet you're still close to them and they're in and out. But what do you say to people about family life and how to lighten the temperature in the home and the atmosphere? Reality's going to happen. Dinner dishes are not going to get done. Jello salads may not mold like they're supposed to. But what do you say to people who just really want to have an atmosphere at home that's more fun, where people want to be there?
Well, I feel like I'm fun all the time.
I'm sure
It's my Chucky who likes quiet. And so I have found this in life that, it's okay if everybody, if he needs quiet, let him go garden. He doesn't have to be up my butt. If I want to go and watch a television show about women in Beverly Hills snatching each other's wig out, I should be able to. If my adult children, well, I've got one here that moved back from New York, and she does not want to be here. Let me tell you, this is a big drag after living in New York. But it's okay to have space from each other and then come together and have a good time. We have fought. There's always going to be conflict, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to have time apart during all this, for everybody to have their own space. That's okay. And I think it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we do it. Chuck Morgan is not used to being at home. And when he first started putting an office in here, I thought, oh, Lord Jesus, we don't need this. Can you? I don't want. So we don't do well. We could never, I don't know. We don't, he said to me, he goes, do you want to put a desk in here with mine? I was like, no, I do not. I'm a creative person and I need to be fun. I can't be doing all that. But I do think it's important to have time apart. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy to have time apart, and then have meals together. If somebody's trying to be a bundle and say, rah, 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 I try to go, let's think of something fun. What did you think was fun in, Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell? I mean, bring it back in.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, baby.
Yeah.
Does that?
That does make sense. It does make sense. Everybody has their own individual. It's good to come together. It's, what do they say? Together apart. And it's good to be, have your own space, especially at a time like this. People need to be able to process who they are and think through their thoughts too.
Yeah. And it is good. And I don't always do it, but it is good to get out and exercise and move. And, because none of us are sleeping like we should be. And really, I do think it's a time to take care of yourself, and I have been eating a lot of Jello salad. I'm gonna get off of them, but I do think it's good to exercise and move your body, pray, listen to music, watch something funny. Not watch the news.
Yes.
The news will kill you.
Yeah. It'll scare the bejeebies out of you. There's no doubt about that, and confuse you to boot. You're better off just not, just
right.
Here's how I do the news.
I hear one thing.
Yeah, I asked Fred. Fred. I asked Fred. I say, do I need to be worried about that? Because I let him filter through the news, and then I ask him, "What's the news?" And then he tells me. That's my way of doing the news.
Oh, good.
Well,
tell Fred. I don't want to watch it. I need somebody to filter it for me, because exactly. It's confusing, and it's yeah. So I just think, get out garden, kiss a dog in the mouth. Yeah.
Plant a plant. Yeah. Our yard has never looked so good. I'll tell you that. That's a good thing. Okay, we could talk all day. I know we can, but we've had a lot of people make a lot of comments. We're so thankful for the people that have joined us. We have had lots of different states and lots of different comments. How can people stay in touch with you and make sure when you come to their town, they can get a ticket to your next show when that all opens back up? LeanneMorgan.com, right?
Right, right. Just leannemorgan.com. And dates are being added. They'll be announced soon for 2021. So all these dates that I've had are going to happen. We just don't know when. And just, watch my website and my social media and you'll figure it out.
That sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a great break for all of us, and I'm so thankful that you're so authentic and you're so real. And when I watch your videos, you are just you, and it really is great to connect with people that are going through real life.
Yeah. Well, thank you, my little Beth.
It's so good to see
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Good.
And what?
I said, kiss my friend for me.
I will. You kiss Chucky Doodles and tell them we love all your family and give everybody a hug. And we will definitely keep in touch and talk soon.
Okay, my darling. All right. Thank you, Ben.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.